Imagine being with someone for 10 years. You've been cohabiting with this person. You even have children together. 10 good years. And somehow, some way, you found out that, you're not legally married to this person. Like, you're not married to this person. Sounds shocking, right? Trust me, things like this are common in Nigeria. You see people living together, having children together. In their mind, they think they are married. Oh, our wife, my husband, or call me, using this terminology to address themselves. Even the family, our wife, our wife, our wife. That's your husband. My husband, my husband. Meanwhile, in the eye of the law, that is not your husband, that is not your wife. Yes, you have children together. It doesn't change anything. They are your children together. But legally, your status, your marital status under the law is not recognized. And this is so rampant in Nigeria. In this video, I'll be explaining why many marriages are not legally recognized in Nigeria. There are so many marriages like that people think, oh, I'm married to this person, I'm living with this person, I'm married to this person. We even have children together. And you think you're married. You think your marriage is recognized. You think that relationship, that union is recognized. But it is not. It is not. And this is the reason I'm going to be explaining in this video why many marriages in Nigeria are not legally recognized. Let's get straight into it. Let me refresh your memory on the types of marriages we have in Nigeria. Statutory and what's customary. Just two types. Statutory marriage is referred to marriage under the Act. Okay, so two types of marriage: statutory, customary. Let me start with some common issues with customary marriage and why your marriage is not legally recognized. Customary marriage is according to the customs and tradition, right? Requirements of customary marriage to be valid, to be legally recognized and legally recognized, and you can confidently say, this person is my spouse, this person is my wife, this person is my husband, is the family consent and payment of bride price. Family consent and payment of bride price, especially payment of bride price. If the bride price is not paid, you are not married. I'll repeat it again. In Nigeria, under the law, if the bride price is not paid, you are not legally married. That is cohabitation. You are just cohabiting. That is boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh, but they've done something, they've done small thing on my head. It's not marriage. I have introduced him, I have introduced her, we have done introduction. It's not marriage. The particular thing that marks the legalization of the union, that seals the legalization of the union, is that bride price, that dowry. So without it, there is no marriage. Without the bride price, there is no marriage. So he has done something on my head. I have introduced him. They gave us their blessing to go and live together. You are not married. The man can wake up tomorrow and say, get out of my house. And you will go. The woman can say, I am not doing it again. I have seen somebody that I like, that I want to marry. And you're like, am I not your husband? Husband for real? Have you paid my bride price? That is what you will hear. Which husband? Have you paid my bride price? And it's the truth. Have you paid her bride price? You can walk away. She owes you nothing. You owe her nothing. So that is a common issue. So that's why I'm here to explain to you why your marriage is not recognized. That is how you can live 10 years, 20 years. And you say this person is your husband. The person is not your husband. The man can go ahead and go and pay bride price of another person and marry another person. But customary marriage allows for polygamy. The man can marry as many wives as possible. But your status, you cannot recognize yourself as a wife because there's no marriage, no bride price. So if you are in this position, I want you to rethink it and rethink your options and rethink what you want to do. Because I am here to clarify to you, to open your eyes, to say that the fact that you are living together does not mean you are married. Our wife, our husband, the other person can choose to do whatever he or she likes, and there's nothing you can do. But of course, you have responsibilities to your children, but not to each other. So go and do the right thing today. After watching this video, if you know you want to do customary marriage alone, okay? Just go and pay the bride price, or make sure as a woman, go and tell him to pay the bride price. Then you have legalized your marriage and your marriage is legally recognized. Okay? That is for customary marriage. Now let's go to statutory marriage. For statutory marriage, this is why that's your marriage that you think is statutory marriage. You conducted statutory marriage, but it is not still legally recognized. Yes, we went to registry. You went to registry, they gave you marriage certificates. But I can tell you that your marriage is not recognized if you fall in these following categories that I want to explain now. You have done a void marriage. Your marriage is void. Void ab initio. From the inception, it is not, the law does not recognize that marriage at all. So if you're in this position, I want you to open your ears very well so you can know. And if you're in the position, try to rectify it and stop claiming husband and wife when you are not, when the law does not recognize you. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to issue of inheritance and property or obligations and responsibility, if your spouse tells you that you are not my wife, our marriage is not legally recognized, there is nothing the law can do for you. If your marriage is invalid, there is nothing the law can do for you. So watch this video and ensure that you are not in a void marriage, that your marriage is legal and it is recognized by the law. The first thing is, if you conducted a statutory marriage, but your spouse that you married, either your husband or your wife, is in an existing marriage. That is, you married a married person. I don't know if you understand that. You married a married person. The person you married is in an existing legal marriage. Your own marriage is void. Your marriage, the law does not see it. You can show your certificate all you want. If an objection is raised, or somebody raises it, or they catch you and they say, or they find out eventually, your marriage is void. Even if that marriage, the existing marriage is a customary marriage, as long as there is a valid existing marriage, your subsequent marriage to that person is void. It is not recognized. It is not legal. You are not in a marriage. You're just in a relationship with that person. So if the person you married is a married person, your marriage is void. Yes, I went to registry. It's in the air. Void. That is one. Secondly, the person you got married to, you are related. In law, let me use the legal terms for it. In law, we will say that parties are within the prohibited degree of consanguinity and affinity. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? So that is the legal term for it. We'll say parties are within the prohibited degree of consanguinity and affinity. Simply put, you're going to marry someone that you are related by blood. It's your relative. You're going to marry your relative. That marriage is void. That marriage is not legally recognized. If you marry your relative, that marriage is void. Invalid, not legally recognized. Okay? That is another reason your marriage may not be recognized in Nigeria. Another reason your marriage may not be recognized, another reason your marriage may be void, is during the celebration of that marriage, the statutory marriage. Remember, we are addressing statutory marriage. During the celebration of the statutory marriage, you did not comply with the rules relating or regarding the celebration of the marriage. There are rules, oh. You can't just conduct it anyhow. If you conduct anyhow, or if you don't comply with the rules, failure to comply with the rules renders the marriage invalid. And what are these rules? If you did not celebrate it in a licensed place of worship or the registrar's office, that's the marriage registry, you've not conducted a statutory marriage. Whatever it is you did, that's your own. It is not recognized. It will not be recognized by the law. A valid marriage must be conducted in a licensed place of worship or at the registrar's office, at the marriage registry. If you marry under a false name, your marriage is invalid. Under a false name, getting married under a false name is wrong. It is invalid. Your marriage is not recognized. Okay? So that person that you go and marry, that person that you marry, are you sure that's his real name? Are you sure that's a real name? The things people do to get married just to achieve something. Check. Another reason is if your marriage was not conducted by a licensed minister. If you did not conduct it in a registry and you conducted it in a church or your domination, wherever, and that church is not licensed and it was not even conducted by a licensed minister to conduct such, your marriage is invalid. If you celebrated a marriage without the registrar's certificate of notice, okay, there is a procedure before you get married, giving notice and the rest like that. If you don't have the registrar's certificate of notice or license, or you even conducted it in a religious place of worship without due license, the place is not licensed, the minister that officiated is not licensed, your marriage is invalid. It is not valid. All you did is just church blessing. You can even say you did customary marriage. It's just church blessing. It is not recognized by the law. Lack of real consent. That marriage is void. You got your spouse consent by either fraud, misrepresentation, deceit. The person does not have the capacity to understand what he or she is entering into. That marriage is void. Or you threaten the person under duress. That marriage is void. Or you misrepresented yourself or your intention just fraudulently. That marriage is void. You can annul such marriage. You don't even need to go through divorce. You just cancel it. That marriage is cancelled. You just annul it. So you just annul it. So lack of real consent, because the law is of the opinion that if you get married to someone and the person does not have the capacity to even understand what he or she is going into, or the person entered that union with a different mindset, different from your own mindset, based on the fact that you represented the person, that means the person did not give real consent. Because I did mean the person had known your intention, the person wouldn't have given consent. That is lack of real consent. So it invalidates the union. It invalidates the union, because if the person had known that this was your intention, or this is the reason why you want to marry the person in the first place, the person wouldn't have given his or her consent. So lack of real consent is saying that I did not really consent to this thing because I was deceived. I did not really consent to this marriage because lack of capacity. Maybe the person lacks the capacity to even understand what he or she is even doing, or duress. But the person was threatened under duress. The person doesn't want to do it, but the person just has to say yes because it's under duress. But in the real sense, that is not the person's real consent. The person would never have said yes if he had known that this is how it's going to be. So lack of real consent invalidates a marriage. Some people are in that union. Some people are in union like that. They've deceived the person, misrepresented information, and hide some facts. That's fraud. Fraudulent, behavior. Hide some important information that if I had known this thing, I wouldn't have said yes to you. Lack of real consent is another reason why some marriages are not legally recognized. So such marriages, you don't even need to go through divorce. You can just annul it, have annulment, and annul the marriage. But remember, you must be able to prove it. You must be able to prove that indeed the person misrepresented you. You were not in it from beginning. The person deceived you. The person, it was under duress. You have to be able to prove it. Okay? If parties are not of marriageable age, the Matrimonial Causes Act says that marriage is void. That marriage is not legally recognized if parties are not of marriageable age. So, why am I saying this? Why is it important? Barrister, why do you even say all these things? What's even the point? Why does it matter? I've been in a relationship 10 years and my marriage is going well. This is why it matters. If there is breakup, this is why you need to know. This is why you need to know these things. When there is breakup and you start running around, what is my options? What is my gain? What is my options? How do I protect my interests? Your interest was never secured in the beginning. So this is why you need to know these things. For when there is a breakup or there is an issue, somebody is trying to breach the agreement that you had. Because trust me, union coming together is an agreement. For better, for worse. I vow, I promise, it's an agreement. And if somebody is breaching that agreement, that person I say, you are the love of my life, you are this, you are that, I will love you to the end of my life. And the person is not breaching the agreement, and you are at your lowest, and you don't know what to do. Where do you go from here? How do you secure your interest? That is why these things matters. You need to know. And if your marriage is not legally recognized, you don't have anything. You don't have anything to show. You can't even approach the courts. The courts cannot fight for you because in the first place, your marriage is not even legally recognized. If there are disputes over property and children, or even where one partner dies, this is why you need to know. Where do you stand? What is my status? Does the law recognize my marriage? Does the law recognize my marriage? These are the questions you need to ask. Because most people think that it's just marriage. But you know that the type of marriage you conducted and even your status go as far as dictating your interests and your rights under the law. So at a point, the law will ask, was there a valid marriage? Is your marriage recognized? Do I even recognize your marriage in the first place? These are the questions that will be asked. And this is why you need to know. So imagine thinking that you're a wife. Imagine thinking that you're a husband. But the law is completely seeing you differently. The law is seeing you differently. The law is not seeing you as a wife. The law is not seeing you as a husband. There will be consequences. And you will suffer for it. Or you just move on. This is why it is important to understand your legal position and your legal status and your legal standing. Understand everything and know where you stand. Okay? So it doesn't matter what people call you. The question is your marriage valid? Are you legally married? Ask yourself this question, okay? And give yourself the answer. And take the next step on what to do. I hope you've been able to learn something from this video. Like, share, subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell so that when I drop a new video, you will be notified, okay? And don't forget to, if you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section and I will respond to it. I hope you'll be able to learn one or two things. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.